systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? It's pay-per-view season, 13 fights, Chicago, Illinois. Man, it's going to be a phenomenal one. DFS, real life. I mean, you can't really draw up a better main event, in my opinion. Top to bottom, I think we got a banger. The past couple weeks, these fight nights have been a little lackluster, at least on paper. They loaded this one, though, there's no doubt. Fingers crossed we keep all 13. I mean, we went from 13 to 14 to 15 to 14 to 13. It's been a roller coaster this week. As you can see, DraftKings still doesn't have pricing out. FanDuel does. I got to make sure and go check that out. But FanDuel has those two fights. DraftKings still does not have these priced, but you can see the biggest favorite on the card and the second biggest favorite on the card. So I'm expecting something like 9,400 for Albia and Bonsager to be like 95, maybe even 9,600. So we have guesses on what the pricing will be. They better put it out tomorrow. If they mess that one up, that'd be awful, awful. But two big favorites that we do not have pricing yet. Otherwise, we look good to rock. Fingers crossed everyone weighs in. Good to go. We get 13. How are we feeling, Big Marley? How's your week going? Big boy card.
Good. Yeah, I like the main event. I think it's going to be a good one, and I think the winner against Fluffy will be a good one too. Fluffy's just, man, what a badass after last weekend. Really, I just can't wait to see him against one of these guys. I think against Chimaev will be my preferred viewing and especially profitable play if Chimaev can get the dub here. But I'm really looking forward to the main event. Pico making his debut is exciting as well. We got some other solid fights on the card, but I think it's a tough DFS card because it's the main event and then everything else. I think the Olic J-Check one, I messed that one up. I put star 5 instead of 5-star because I went back and moved it from 4-star to 5-star just to have something else being a 5-star other than the main event. But I started with 4-star, and I think every other fight is kind of just bunched in there together. Lots of ways to get different on this card, but I will be all in on the main event for that reason.
Yeah, that's a good breakdown. I will also be all in on the main event, even 150 teams. Not a hot take by any means, but hey, if 6% fade, I think that 6% paying the rake, we take that. And I like what you said. Yeah, like you moved one to a 5-star and Michael O. Otherwise, it's all similar. And I think that means pretty similar ownership, or at least spread out ownership. And that's good for DFS. That's what we want. I would not be surprised if we just saw one or two fighters above 50%. I think probably Chimaev, even though DDP is definitely a good option at 7,300. He'll probably be like 40%. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Susakar down there again. If he's 9,500, maybe 9,600, he's minus 1,200 in a tier of his own. Inside the distance prop should be great. And outside of these two fighters down here, minus 420, minus 1,200, no one above minus 330. Like Chase Hooper is now minus 305 when we get there. So that means there's plenty of live underdogs on this card. So I'm fine going, and I hate the mid-tier. That's another thing I wanted to add. Not, I guess, hate's a strong word, but I don't love Murphy Pico. I don't love Loopy Andrade. I don't love Barbosa Close. I like the Stars and Scrubs route a lot more. That's my preferred way to go. Jam the main event, Stars and Scrubs. Can always leave a little money. That's my broad slate overview. If we needed 5 minutes to do the show, I think that's what I would say in those 5 minutes. Let me refresh this quick to get the FanDuel pricing right. Get the stars right. There we go. The stone all updated. And shout out to the team behind the scenes. I will be gone next week. You will get Cheats and Big Marley, just like a lot of people have requested. They absolutely love the show between you guys last time. They will be doing that. And then the team behind the scenes helped me. Like you guys can tell, usually I do the stone and write the stuff. There's a space in between the height and 77.5, 73.5. And you see the draws. You guys are probably like, something looks a little different. I know of the 1,000-something watching, you guys would catch that. Behind the scenes, help me out because they're going to help me out next week when I am overseas in Greece, completely MIA. But hey, I won't be MIA For this show, who knows? I probably won't be able to watch the fights. I have a long plane rides and stuff, and then I land in the morning. So who knows if I'll be able to watch it. I'm going to try to at least watch Chimaev and DDP because, I mean, that's one of the best fights all year. DDP has been, he just finds ways to win. Chimaev has looked absolute dominance. Excited to talk about that fight to get to your preferred side, even though I already see who it is based on the stone. Let's say hi to a couple people before we go fight by fight. Nate D, Little Neck, Cody Berry, YSN. I agree with that. I'm definitely on the Chimaev as well. Nate D, Ben again. Good evening to everyone. Like button, subscribe button helps us out a ton. Let's talk some fights, Big Marley. And this isn't the proper order. I added these two in late. Like this Surkayev guy, he is, I think, on the main card, like 5th or 6th, if I believe. He's somewhere up top. So I'm going based on the stone, but this is not the exact bout order. This is somewhere up here. Bottom to top through the stone, though. Basinger, Susakayev taking on Eric Nolan. Susakayev, the biggest favorite on the card at minus 1,200. Nolan plus 750 on the way back. The only prop we have is under 2.5 at minus 220. So Susakayev just fought on Dana White's Contender Series on Tuesday. Got a first-round knockout. Looked very dominant. Khamzat Chimaev's training partner. He's now 9-0, 8 wins by knockout. He looked great on Contender Series. Body kick. Got the job done in the first round. It was an awful Contender Series day. Dana White was really funny if you didn't listen to that. But Susakayev was the man. Now he flies from Vegas to Chicago, fights on 4 days' notice, and finds himself as a massive favorite. So how did the line went? Open minus 350, and this line all came out today. So it's very new, and I'm curious to see where it all goes. Open minus 350, got as low as minus 1,500. Then Nolan took money. It went all the way to minus 800, and now it's sitting back at minus 1,200 range. The under 2.5 open minus 150 and is now minus 220. I don't see any inside the distance prop, anything like that. And we don't even have DraftKings pricing. But with him being the highest priced, or the biggest favorite, and Chase Hooper originally being the biggest favorite at 93, now Alibi is minus 420, so I think he'll be 9,400. I'm expecting Susakayev 95, 96. Probably that. I would be surprised with 9,700, but let's talk like he's 9,600, Big Marley. What are we doing in this one? Break down this fight.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a setup fight for this Susakayev guy after that Dana White's Contender Series fight. I just watched it a couple hours ago, and he looked impressive. And he had another fight that I watched. I only watched a couple of this fight and the next one, but Susakayev looks like a good striker, man. He's got solid hands, but his kicks are really good. And that teep kick that he did land on that guy, I feel like he could just do that all the time and just push people back, just slow them down throughout the fight or finish guys. And he's going to be a problem. I think he's going to knock out Nolan eventually. Nolan had a nice knockout that I saw as well, but if he's not landing a knockout, I just don't see how he's going to be winning this fight. I think Susakar, I can't even say the guy's name. Susakayev is going to be really just better everywhere. But $9,600, we're really relying on an early knockout because I don't think he's going to go out there with a wrestling game plan. He's mainly a striker, but he does get a knockout in almost all of his fights. So I'll be playing him. I don't think he's going to be an absolute core play. I'm fine going down to other plays. But I would imagine I get a decent amount of them, 30 plus, 40 plus %. And then Nolan, I maybe I'm going to watch a little bit more and I could be sold that way. I'll update the notes if that's the case, but I'm guessing I'm going to X out Nolan.
Yeah, I'm Xing out Nolan. He's probably the easiest X. We have so many good live dogs on this card that are like plus 200, plus 230. I don't need to be playing a plus 750 guy in Eric Nolan. So easy fade there. I love Susakayev mainly for the fact of it's like when you get a minus 1,200 guy, he's probably going to have the best inside the distance prop on the slate around, I don't know, minus 170 range, maybe even higher. When you get that with like, I'm going to play some DDP, even if I go Chimaev, Susakayev, like I can go Ruzi Boyev, GM3, like and Andrade. Like there's just so many cheap options I'm good playing. I'll take my 100 plus at minus 1,200, if he's minus 180 inside the distance, I want to get overweight on him. I think it's really easy to do on this card. I do like a couple others in the upper tier, a Chase Hooper, Michael O. So I'm going to I would be fine making a Susakav team and dropping down to them and leaving money, but I don't really like Kai Asakura. I don't really like Michael Paige. I don't love Carlos Prates. So I don't love Karina Silva. So comparing others to the upper tier, I feel much better about a minus 1,200 favorite that is probably going to have a big inside the distance prop that's finished 8 of his 9 fights, that has a lot of momentum. And this Nolan dude, I just don't think is really good at 8-3, where a lot of these underdogs like Tim Elliott, Jared Cannonier, there's a lot of game underdogs on this card. I'd rather pick on a bum in Eric Nolan, relatively speaking. So yeah, give me Susakav. I want a good amount of him. Got to see what DraftKings price him at. What's up, Mike Spencer? Amazing Asian. I always love that name. Cute dog. Good to see the both of you. All right, next fight on the card. So we were originally supposed to have 2 tough fights. This is one of them got canceled. So this is the only tough fight on the card. This is the championship. Alibi Idris taking on Joseph Morales. Again, this line just came out today as well. We had Idris open minus 300, now minus 420. Morales plus 320 on the way back. The only prop I see under 2.5 at minus 105. That open plus 155. So this fight's probably going to be slightly favored to go the distance, but some money has come in on the under. I'll let you take it away. I watched a little bit of it. It looked like Idris, Kazakhstan guy, more of a striker, fast, twitchy, has some wrestling. Morales, on the other hand, 6 of his 12 wins by submission. He looks like he does want to get the fight to the mat. Do you see it, or did you see it the same way? And let's talk like this is priced 9,400, 6,800. That is my guess what it's going to be.
Yeah, I think Morales needs to get the fight to the mat because submission grappling would be the only possible edge that I give him in this one. But I think that Idris is the better and more aggressive wrestler. I think he could go out there and get takedowns and be fine in top control. I really wouldn't worry about Morales very much as a defensive grappler. And then I also think Idris has the striking edge too. He could finish Morales anywhere, but I would worry about his score in a decision win, especially if he's not going to go out there and wrestle. If he's going to have the striking edge and just cruise for 3 rounds, that would be bad for us. But it wouldn't shock me to see him land from 2 to 6 takedowns in this fight, just because Morales is really not somebody who even likes to stuff very many takedowns. He'll accept them. So I'm interested in a little bit of Idris, but I don't think I'm going to play Morales on this card. There's other people who have high ceilings that I think are just a little bit more realistic than Morales is. So I think I'll pass on him. If I was making a 150 for sure, I would want at least, 10% of Morales, maybe 15 or so, but I'm not going to have 150 on this card. I'll probably have 20. I think I ended up with 25 last card. Maybe it'll be something like that.
I'm going to play a little Morales just for the sense of I think he'll be one of the lowest owned on the card, and it seems like his path to victory is through the mat, whether it's 3-4 takedowns, a submission. If he gets that, he's 7% owned. I'll take my chances at very low ownership. So just because of his style, I'll play some Idris. I'll keep Idris in the pool. Morales is probably my preferred play. Again, 9,400. Give me Susakav all day long. Give me Chase Hooper all day long, Michelle O all day long, Chimaev obviously all day long. But it sounds like you think he's more likely to wrestle than I gave him credit for initially. And if that's the case, I think he could. I think he'll just going to be the much better striker. I'm not confident he does. And seeing over 2.5 favored, if he's 9,400 and he just strikes, a second round knockout might not be enough. I'm expecting some big scores on this card. But I do think his ownership probably stays in check because I bet you Hooper is higher owned. Susakar is higher owned. So it could be a way to get different on this card. I'm indifferent to him. I'm indifferent to Morales since he is a pretty big dog. But if Morales wins, I feel a lot more confident he's optimal than I do Idris. And he's going to be really low owned. So 3 is probably how I'd start too. Would I be shocked if either was optimal? Not shocked, but I think it's definitely less than 50%. So not a fight I love. It will be in the pool, though, since we have 13 fights, and I can make a case. I already have 5 fades, 6 underweight tags. I have fights I know I like, and I have fights I know I don't. So I'm fine getting 5 to 10% of each fighter in this one. And you only need one lineup in MMA. If one of them are optimal, I don't want to be stone dead. So yeah, just an okay fight. Another fight that I really don't like much, and you agree, it looks like Karine Silva and Diana Barbosa, minus 135, or excuse me, I was looking at the wrong one there. Minus 205 Silva, plus 175 is Barbosa, plus 185 for this fight to finish. Silva plus 225 inside the distance. Barbosa plus 700. Takedowns, 1.85 for Silva, 1.73 for Barbosa. Do you think either wrestle? If so, who do you think is more likely to wrestle? And then break it down from there.
Yeah, I would think we see this fight hit the mat a couple times. I think Barbosa is the more likely offensive wrestler. But I would think we get at least one from both of them in this one. I just expect it to be close everywhere. I think the striking can be pretty close. I would give Silva the edge. I think she's just a little bit more powerful, just the better striker overall, but she's not going to blow you away with volume. So I think Barbosa could keep it close there. And these two have fought before. Barbosa won unanimous decision. I was not able to find that fight, but I mean, at plus 180, I would rather have the underdog in this one. And Barbosa likes to grapple. If she does win, she has a high ceiling with her submission equity in this one. And if she wins a decision, I think she could score 10x, maybe even 80, 85 points here. So I'll play some Barbosa. Silva, I'm thinking she has to get a finish at 8,800, and I would rather play other favorites. She would be more of a 150 play for me. I doubt I get there. And I'm not even sure why I put 3 and 3 on this one. For me, it's going to be 2-star Silva, 4-star Barbosa. I'm actually picking Barbosa to win a close split decision here.
Okay. First, let me make sure I'm not on mute. Laptop's tougher. I'm not on mute. I was doing the odds calculator. So Silva's plus 225 inside the distance, which isn't bad, but a third round finish might not be enough. Her in round one, though, plus 550, that's 15%. And she does. She's a fast starter. She has plenty of wins in round one. Now, granted, most of those are against worse competition, but I'm not even convinced Silva comes in 15%. Maybe she comes in exactly 15%. If that's the case and her round one prop is 15%, like if I told you Silva won in round one, I mean, not sign me up for 65%, 70%, like maybe even more. It's the best leverage on the card by far. So I've kind of taken one from your book looking at that. Yeah, I'm going to play some Silva just when I'm going Chimaev, when I'm going, who's all the chalk? Michelle O, Ruzi Boyev. Like when I'm playing chalk, and I'm leaving a lot less money, that's how I'm going to play Karine Silva, and I'm fine getting different that way. My preferred side is Barbosa because 78 might be enough. And like, I do think she tries to wrestle. She did already beat her, like you said. I don't love the fight. 2 stars probably right. Maybe 3-star. Like it's really close to that. But both girls will be in my pool. And again, like 15% for round one prop for Silva. She might even be 15%. When you say it like that, it sounds like a lot better. Barbosa, a very live dog, a solid money line for a price with grappling upside. To be honest, the more I look at it and I think of ownership, like I wouldn't be shocked if I'm overweight to this fight. I like this fight more than the last fight. I do know that. So yeah. And like looking at where it's priced, Battle Ruziboyev that we're going to get to. Ruziboyev is going to be a lot higher owned than Barbosa. Battle's going to be higher owned than Silva too. Where else are we around? Chimaev TDP. Obviously, that's why this fight will be a lot lower owned. Don't make a 1v1 pivot. We're saying we're already going all in on this fight, but I can build a Prates team, drop Prates down to Silva and go from there. Like I'd be totally fine with that. So Barbosa, my preferred play, but I'm going to have some of both. And I'm using them in chalkier lineups, especially the Silva side. Let's keep it going. Next fight on the card, Brian Battle, minus 170. Nursultan Ruziboyev, plus 145. Minus 155 for this fight to finish. Battle, plus 150 inside the distance. Ruziboyev, plus 255. Something interesting to note, Battle inside the distance, open plus 130, now plus 150, so it went the wrong way. Ruziboyev open plus 300 inside the distance, now plus 255, which is the best in the lower tier. What are we doing in this one?
Yeah, I am preferring Ruziboyev in this one just because if he wins, I think it could be a finish, whether that be a submission or a knockout. He is going to be the bigger guy here. Battle coming up to, 185. And, man, Ruziboyev's a big 185er. It's a tough test, but I do think Battle will be the better minute winner if Ruziboyev can't get the finish. At $8,600, though, I don't see Battle wrestling a lot. I don't think I want a minute winner at $8,600. So I would just rather prefer the ceiling of Ruziboyev, even if he doesn't get it done. I got to take chances on underdogs on this card. He's one of them for me. So for me, it's going to be Ruziboyev or pass with limited lineups. Battle would be another one of those 150 type of lineups where I'm fine getting some of them, but he's definitely not someone I'm looking to click on when I'm hand building lineups. I would honestly rather save money or leave money on the table rather than pick Battle in a hand built lineup.
Okay, we disagree a little, and I think mainly I just hate the lower tier. Like, personally, I prefer Battle to Kareem Silva. I prefer Battle to all these mid-tier fights, essentially. I like Battle more than Michael Paige. I really don't like Michael Paige when we get there. Plus 150 inside the distance with over 5 significant strikes per minute. And, yeah, who knows about the wrestling? Ruziboyev definitely a solid submission game, so maybe he does just keep it on the feet. He's got power, even though, yeah, he is more of a minute winner than just a one-shot kill. I mean, that Gabe Green fight was absolutely phenomenal for as long as it lasts. I don't think both guys are going to necessarily do that. But, again, round one prop, plus 450, that's 18%. He very well might be like 18% range. Second round knockout with his volume, or if he does mix in a takedown, he could still get there at 8,600. So, Ruziboyev is my preferred play because of the 1K savings and the great inside the distance prop. But I also think he comes in as one of the highest owned underdogs on the slate, which, again, that makes me like Battle even more because I think he's a lot of leverage off of one of the chalkiest, while I think he very well might be lower owned than Ruziboyev himself. Whereas, like, you're not getting leverage with Silva versus Barbosa. You're not getting that much leverage with Paige versus Cannonier. I do think you're getting a good amount of leverage because of Ruziboyev's ownership. So, yeah, Battle and chalk your lineups. And plus 150 inside the distance, plus 450 round one. If you drop down from Asakura, from Prates, like two primary strikers that it could go the distance, that's something I would be fine to do. Like, just looking at it. So, again, plus 150 inside the distance for Battle. Let's go to Prates real quick. Plus 100. So better, but 50 cents. Like, if you leave the money and drop that down, you could cut out 60 dupes down to like 4 dupes. That's worth the 50 cents I'm giving up in inside the distance prop. Asakura plus 130. That's pretty similar as well to Battle. So, yeah, I'm good using Battle. Ruziboyev probably my preferred play, though, because of his prop. Let's go. I keep saying, like, there are fades that I'm going to have on this card. This next one is one of them. Edson Barbosa, Drakkar Close. Barbosa minus 135, Close plus 115, plus 120 for this fight to finish. Barbosa plus 190, Close plus 450. I just don't see the upside for Drakkar Close. Yes, if he gets the knockout, sure. I don't think he has success wrestling. If you think he does, let me know, because that could change things. I think, as the inside the distance prop shows, if someone does get a finish, Barbosa, I think, is a lot more likely to do so. Both guys, some durability concerns. I do like to see Barbosa, though, coming up to 155. I think that helps his cardio, his durability a good amount. He still carries power. Close's chin is concerning. So I'm going Barbosa. I don't love this fight, though. Again, I don't like many mid-tier fights. But if someone scored 90 plus in this fight, if you told me that and it was a lock, I feel a lot better about I feel a lot better about Barbosa doing it than I do Close. Do you disagree? How do you see this fight?
Yeah, I agree. But I'm just really not going to use this fight, I think, is going to be my plan. I'm hoping that this is a lower paced technical striking battle for 15 minutes. And if that's the case, it's not going to matter who even wins. But my plan would just be to save the $400, even if I have a Barbosa lineup. I'd rather cut out my duplicates and go down to Close in that same lineup. The durability concerns on both sides is really what I would be targeting here. If we can get a TKO from either side, they can be on the optimal lineup at low ownership. But in a hand-built lineup, man, I'm just not clicking on these guys. So another 150 on both sides. I'd say this is my least favorite fight as a whole. I'm really just not trying to use it. I would rather go down to Ruzaboya rather than use both of these guys. So really a full fade for me, but I'd be okay with both of them in 150s with close as my preferred play. I am picking Barbosa to win, though, so that's why I'm not going to get too much close either.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with any of that. I'd prefer Ruzaboyev over both of them as well and leaving the money. It just, at the end of the day, Barbosa's money or inside the distance at plus 190, 34%. They're giving them 34.5% to finish this fight. I'll take a finish at 8,300 and then hope the eggs fall in the right place in terms of the score, a knockdown, 2 knockdowns. I don't want much of it, but I think Barbosa has more upside. So I will not be playing close in 20 and below. I will have some Barbosa. Let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, Chase Hooper, the third biggest favorite, minus 305, taking on Alexander Hernandez, plus 255, minus 150 for this fight to finish. Hooper, minus 105 inside the distance. Hernandez, plus 525. So this fight opened minus 130 to finish. Now it's minus 150. Hooper opened plus 120 inside the distance. Now minus 105. Money line wise, this line came out June 17th, so a while ago. Was minus 145 at open. Didn't last long. Went to minus 235 shortly after. Chase has continued to take money, but as you can see on the stone, I put these up on Tuesday. Minus 335. Now it's minus 305. So some money coming back on the Hernandez side. I'm not playing Hernandez. Chase Hooper's the man. The dude just keeps getting better. His mixed martial arts a lot better than when he came in here. I think the best thing for his career was hitting the weight room, going up from 145 to 155. He turned from a string bean to a guy he ain't no grown-ass man by any means, but he's put together enough. And when he gets it on the mat, the dude is as special as you can get. So, yeah, I'm definitely playing Chase. 100-plus point upside even in decisions. He has all the upside in the world, even with finishes. Alexander Hernandez, I think, has to fight the perfect fight at distance. Yeah, I'm not playing him in 20 and below. I'm very bullish on Hooper, but you have it a 4-star and you have a 2-star for Hernandez. So are you going to get a little Hernandez?
Yeah, I think I'll play a little Hernandez. Even with 20, I would think I get at least 2 lineups, 2-3 lineups. If Hooper can't get the takedowns, I think Hernandez can make this a pick'em style fight, if not look like a favorite out there. Hooper's striking is definitely much improved. This definitely is a close fight, whereas 2 years ago, I think Hernandez would dominate him on the feet. Now it's close. But Hernandez does have big power. Hooper's been dropped multiple times. I don't know how much a chin improves along with skills. So I do think Hernandez is in play for a knockout here, a knockout at $6,900. Probably put you on the optimal lineup. So I'm interested in Hernandez, but give me Hooper to kind of relentlessly chase for those takedowns and ultimately get a submission at some point. He is just a little too slick, and I don't know that Hernandez is smart enough to just keep avoiding it and stay out of a submission for 15 minutes.
I'm with you. All right, before we go to the next fight, Big Marley, it's almost that time of the year, baby. Football season. There's no better place to join than SHIPIT Nation in terms of football. As you can see, the NFL package, $349. That will be going up to $449 next Wednesday. Not only do you get NFL, though, you get college football. A lot of sites charge like $200-something for it. You get that for free, and we have a great college football team over here. If you haven't tried the sport, I think you will like it a lot. Not only do you get college football, the SHIPIT games, we've talked about that a lot on here. If you have not heard about it, I don't know what you're doing, but you can see on the website, if you scroll up, over $78,000 in cash and prizes we are giving away in the NFL season. We're doing it in a fun way, the SHIPIT games. If you click this link, you can get a whole breakdown on what that is. Tambo and Hoop also did a quick 22-minute video explaining, deep diving every little thing that goes into the SHIPIT games on the YouTube. But there's 50 golden SHIPIT tickets. Week 17, that 50 will get cut down to 10. And then the first round of the playoffs, 1 through 10, big prizes will be rewarded. Right now, $20K to first place. Third place, I think it's 5,000. You get a yearly ultimate membership as well. Shout out to SaberSim for contributing. And those prizes can only go up. Shout out to our man Sheets. He has a MLB FanDuel Live final, 2 of them. He put 5% of his equity in each one. So if he wins first place, 5% of what, I don't even know what, 35,000 I think could go in at most. This will continue to go up. There's going to be someone that wins a 3-3-3 to build with Tambo every year, 50% of that. So if you ship 250K, 10% goes to you, 50% goes to this. That would increase by 125,000. Just a really cool stuff. SHIPIT Nation ourselves, we put $50,000 into this, wanted to give back to the community. I mean, we already think the price for NFL alone is money. It's a lot less than almost everywhere else in the industry. Pay less for content, more in your contest. But we want to show our appreciation. Community first. $78,000. That's a lot of cheese that we are giving away, and SaberSim also included in that. So if you want a chance to get 5 extra ballots, the more ballots you have, the more likely you are to get a golden SHIPIT ticket. You do get that if you sign up for the early bird special, an all access monthly or an annual deal. You get SaberSim, you get NFL, you get college football, and you get all access. So right now, if you sign up for that, you would get all MMA, PGA, and NASCAR content all the way up into the NFL season. We'd love to have you. And last but not least, you also get access to the Discord, the best Discord around. We would love to have you. ShipItNation.com. Email info@ShipItNation if you have any questions. All right, next fight on the card, mid-tier fight, Lupi Godinez, Jessica Andrade, minus 155 Lupi, plus 135 is Jessica, plus 215 for this fight to finish. Andrade plus 350 inside the distance. Godinez plus 500. So the underdog, the better finishing prop on the slate. Andrade is taking a little money throughout the week. You're always an Andrade girl. Doesn't look like it here, though. So break it down. What are you doing?
I'm okay with both sides on this one, but Godinez is my preferred play. I just think she has more ways to win this fight. I also don't know how motivated Andrade is at this point in her career. Like a hungry, motivated Andrade, I'd be all in for. If she was going to go out there and look for a knockout or look for multiple takedowns, I'm interested in that. But I don't know that she's going to do that. She might just go out there and look for a striking match, and she should have the power edge in a striking match. She's a lot scarier, but I just don't think that knockouts are very likely at 115 pounds, and Godinez has the boxing to contend with her in a 15-minute striking match. But Godinez should be the one going out there looking for multiple takedowns in this fight, and I think she can get them. And Andrade is a really poor defensive grappler. Godinez is live to finish her on the ground here, but she could also rack up 6 to 8 takedowns and score 110 points in a decision win. So I'm going to get me some Godinez, and this one I'll be overweight to Godinez, and then I'll probably be around field on Andrade just because she is an underdog who is live on this card, and she has a decent ceiling. I mean, even in a decision win, I would expect her to score 70 plus, but she could get a knockout and score 90 plus. So I'm okay with a little bit of Andrade, but I don't think this is her matchup.
Hold on, give me 1 sec. I'm typing this out. I was initially like the underweight, even with the field Loopy, but with her wrestling upside, and you think she can even finish it on the ground, and that has went from plus 650 to plus 500. I do think I need to get overweight Loopy in a mid tier that I hate. So he's in the field due to wrestling upside. All right, thanks for bearing with me. Always love talking with Big Marley. I always have all my breakdowns done, usually the colors, but I always mess around with them after talking to Big Marley, one of the sharpest MMA guys out there. All right, keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, one of the best fights to target. Clash of Styles, Michelle O, minus 228. Gerald Meerschaert, plus 193. Minus 400 for this fight to finish. And what was it earlier? Minus 350 earlier in the week. So some money coming in on the under. We have Michael O, minus 155. Gerald Meerschaert, plus 275. I mean, yeah, is Michelle O going to keep it on the feet and get a knockout? Or is GM3 going to give Michael O another submission loss and keep adding to his tally?
I'm going to be hoping for the submission, but I do think we'll probably get a finish either way in this one with the knockout from Olic. if that submission doesn't happen. So I'm just going to be targeting this fight pretty heavily for that reason. And I was looking for my second favorite fight on the card just to make it a 5-star. And this was it. So I would imagine I have it in close to 3/4 of my lineups. I'm not really sure yet, but Meerschaert's going to be one of my highest owned underdogs on the card because I'm not sure he can get the fight to the ground consistently and win a decision. I think it's probably submission or bust, but he might be able to get the fight down one time and that be all it takes. So I'm interested. I think he could look like a favorite if he's able to get a takedown in the first round here. But if he's not able to get a takedown, Olic should be the better striker. I mean, he is going to be the better striker. It's just judges are so dumb that I always get worried in a 15-minute striking match. We probably don't have to worry about that. I think Olic would knock him out if that's the case. So give me a finish either way, but I'll be rooting for the underdog.
Yeah, if it's 15-minute striking match, to be honest, just go GM3, get the win because he's the underdog because this fight would completely bust. But yeah, I mean, a couple numbers. Michelle 15 of his 20 wins by knockout, 6 of his 9 losses by submission. GM3, 29 of his 37 wins by submission. He's been finished in 13 of his 19 losses. Yeah, this would be pretty shocking and pretty disappointing if this fight went to decision. Don't see that happening. I think it's Michelle on the feet, a first or second round knockout. I am picking that. I do think he is able to keep it on the feet. His hands are too much for GM3 and eventually goes down. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I want GM3. The upper tier, I feel better with the upper tier than the lower tier in the sense of I think I know who has the most upside up top, whereas down below, like I know it's GM3 and Ruzi Boyev, but if they don't win, 68, 75 could be enough. And I'm not picking too many other dogs. But yeah, if GM3 and Ruzi Boyev lose, I think you'll probably will see a dog with like 75 on the winner. Unless DDP, obviously, if he wins, that changes everything. But yeah, give me Michelle I think he gets it done by first or second round knockout. That doesn't mean that I won't have more GM3 than him, though. Obviously, pricing, we play a price-based game. That 1,600 goes a long way. And I'm fine going Barbosa to GM3. Andrade fight to GM3. Like he has as much upside as most people, 8,500 and below, because first round submission is in play with them. All right, keep it rolling. Another big favorite, Kai Asakura, minus 335. Tim Elliott plus 275. Minus 115 for this fight to finish. Asakura plus 130 inside the distance. Elliott plus 650. Interesting. What did I have? So minus 105, this fight was on Tuesday to finish. Now it's minus 115, little money on the under. Asakura was minus 300. Now he's minus 335. So some Asakura money and the under. I don't know, man. The problem with Asakura is I know I prefer Michael O. I know I prefer Chimaev. I know I prefer Hooper. I know I prefer Susakayev down here. But after that, I could be talked into a little Asakura. I think he's going to be relatively low owned. We haven't seen Tim Elliott in a long time. He's wonky. He's going to try and get it to the mat. But yeah, maybe Asakura has something to prove after that Pantoja loss. I mean, getting thrown in to Pantoja in his first UFC fight, obviously the UFC looks at him highly. He was very good at Ryzen. Does he get the finish in the first or second round?
I think I did pick him to get a TKO at some point here. Yeah. I mean, Elliot at this point, we haven't seen him in a year and a half, almost 2 years, I feel like. And he's definitely on the downside of his career. I mean, life's probably pretty tough as well. He's getting cheated on by his wife with the former training partners. I just feel like he's probably down in the dumps right now looking for a paycheck.
Did you see his video early in the week?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, I don't know what he said. Something about like a good life or something. He was in this hotel room and he just panned to this naked girl that was bending down. She was, so I mean, yeah, he's definitely maybe, I don't know. He's got someone by his side he's having fun with.
I'll have to check it out, I guess.
I'll send it to you when you're talking. Who knows how locked in he is? I sent it to CD and the boys.
But yeah, Asakura, I mean, I feel like the UFC called him up. They're like, hey, we got to Tim Elliott for you. We set this one up for you to bounce back. What do you think? And I think it's a solid matchup for him. As long as he can stuff takedowns consistently, he should be the much better striker here. He's dangerous on the feet. I actually think he's got offensive wrestling potential too if he wanted to use it, but there's really no point in putting yourself in danger. Give me Asakura as the play, but Tim Elliott has the highest ceiling as an underdog in a decision on the card because of his wrestling, and he is somebody who will chain wrestle takedowns together for 15 minutes, and if Asakura gets up, he'll shoot for the takedown again. So I do like Elliott exposure too at 7K. He could absolutely break the slate if Asakura's not the real deal. But my preferred play is to go overweight on Asakura, and I think he gets a second round TKO.
I just texted you it if you want to watch the video. I don't want to risk, Hoop wouldn't be too much of a fan if I put it up here and we got banned. But I don't know who my preferred play is. I put both as underweight, and I think Asakura wins a decision or a late finish, and I don't think a late finish is enough at 9,200. But he's taking some money on the under. I think he's going to be a pivot in the top tier. For those reasons and the striking upside, like I want some. I don't want to completely X some. And like you said with Elliot, with his wrestling upside, like that's his path is to wrestle. It's hard to completely fade him as well, even as a pretty big dog. So if he wins, I think he scores really well. He's not going to get much ownership. Probably Tim Elliott's my preferred play at that price. I don't love this fight, though, too much. All right, 4 fights left. Michael Venom Paige. Minus 190, taking on Jared Cannonier, plus 165. Plus 170 for this fight to finish. Paige plus 275 inside the distance. Cannonier plus 460. I hope this doesn't come back to bite me, but I think Venom Paige is the second or third easiest fade on the card. The dude just literally throws zero volume with no takedown upside. It feels like he needs a first round finish. I'm not even convinced a second round finish would be enough. Maybe. If you told me he'd get a second round finish, I wouldn't completely fade. But yeah, he just doesn't throw volume. Cannonier's as tough as they come. Cannonier is a very game fighter. I hope Cannonier wrestles. That's what I was going to throw to you. I'm for sure fading Paige, and I'm for sure playing Jared Cannonier. But how much do you think he wrestles? Because, I mean, why wouldn't you wrestle?
Yeah, I would guess that he wrestles. I would set his over-under at probably 1.5.
Oh, wow. If he gets 2 takedowns, I mean, I don't know if Paige is getting up.
That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, I'm picking Kenyon here. I'm never picking a low volume striker only type of guy. Paige he's a good striker. He's fast, he's powerful, and he's awkward. And if he can use that to get a knockout, then sure, he could put up a big score. But if he's not getting a knockout, he's scoring 50 points. And I don't want 50 points from a favorite ever. So I'm just going to pass on Michael Paige. He's landed 105 significant strikes in 45 minutes in the UFC octagon. And Cannonier almost landed that in his last fight, and there were still 10 minutes left on the clock almost. So my preferred play is Cannonier because even if he's eating some big shots, he could still double up Paige on the feet and keep it close or win a striking match. But he should look to wrestle here. And Paige coming up to 185 pounds. Cannonier should have a big strength edge, I would hope. So use that wrestling, use that strength to keep the top control. And I think Jared Cannonier wins a decision here. I think it's going to be hard to score well against Paige, but live dog at 7,500 who should look to wrestle. I'm interested. I'll be overweight for sure. And then Paige, easy fade.
I'll take any win from any dog this week. Not that I'm confident that 65 is enough, but it definitely ain't going to kill you. You know that. If DDP loses, if you tell me DDP, GM3, and Ruzi Boyev loses, I would sign up for 65 and probably want to be overweight on 65. I think those are the 3 main ones. Pretty good money lines, a lot of upside. Yeah, if they don't get the job done, you could easily see 65 be enough. So yeah, give me Cannonier for sure, my preferred play in this one. YSN, did you go to Tim Elliott's Twitter and look at the video or what? What you laughing at? 5.5K favorites earlier this week. He's always funny, Tim Elliott. All right, 3 fights left. You remember the Tim Elliott? Who was that? it wasn't Barbosa. Who was it was something like that. I'm gonna look it up. Where he was Espinosa, I want to say it was, when he was talking to him, just beating him up when he was on or Espinosa was on bottom. Like the dude, like, oh, he hit his wife. I think he was calling him a wife beater, and he was just beating the brakes off of him. Do you remember this?
Vaguely.
Let me get the.
Does sound like
Jordan Espinosa. 4 takedowns, just absolutely 91 strikes, 13 minutes of control time, just talking to him, just beating him up. Oh yeah, that was Tim Elliott. He's a funny dude. Yeah, that shit was funny. All right, 3 fights left. This one should be fun for as long as it lasts. Carlos Prates minus 225. Jeff Neal plus 190, minus 155 for this fight to finish. Prates plus 100 inside the distance. Jeff Neal plus 440. I mean, the thing is with Prates, if he doesn't get a second round knockout or a first, obviously, I'm not sure he's optimal. There's no takedowns getting involved. And Jeff Neal's really, really tough. Jeff Neal, on the other hand, if he wins, yeah, I would probably a knockout. It'd be a close decision if so, but he's 7,100 versus 9,100. Jeff Neal's my preferred side because of the savings, but man, it's hard to pick against Prates. That dude is just so pinpoint accuracy, lethal. It's only 3 rounds too. It's not 5 rounds. He's still smoking his cigs, of course. But hey, I mean, he took over in that 5th round against Ian Gary last time. So, I mean, who even knows with the cardio? So I lean Neal. I'm going to have some of both. I think Prates will probably be over-owned for his name, though. Do you have any thoughts on how this goes? What round do you think he needs a knockout in? Break it down.
I would think a 3rd round probably would be too late unless you're getting multiple knockdowns. But I would 2nd round, he could put up high enough volume to get there. And I do think this will be a fun, high-paced, really the funnest, highest-paced striking match on the card. And Jeff Neal said it's 100% chance going to end in a finish.
Yeah,
so if you trust that, then you might want to go all in on this fight. But yeah, I'm going to go fairly heavy on it just because it's a card where there's not a lot of things I want to go heavy on. And Prates could get the 1st round, 2nd round knockout. He could put up volume and scoring a 3rd round knockout too, to be honest. And then Neal, any win from him, I'm okay with. And he is a really good striker. He's got power. I think he could mix in takedowns in this fight as well. So I'm interested in Neal at $7,100. He could get a 1st round knockout and just break the slate. My preferred play, I have it as a 3-3 because I wasn't sure, but I do think my preferred play probably is going to be Neal in this one. And I think the line should be a little bit closer than it is too, even in a 15-minute striking match, which is you would think would make Prates a big favorite. I think that would still be a little bit closer to a pick 'em fight. I really like Neal that much. So Prates is my pick to win. I think he gets it done 29-28, but I would imagine I have more leverage on the Neal side.
I mean, it wasn't long ago when Jeff Neal took Shavkat to the absolute ropes in round 3. Man, I was there, the John Jones card. Like, Shavkat, everyone thought he was untouchable. The numbers, I think, lied a lot more than how close the fight was. But Jeff Neal's game, man, he's going to come in there. Like, I always talk about it. I like when I pick underdogs, get people in the lower tier that are actually good fighters. Jared Cannonier, Jeff Neal, Ruzi Boyev. Like, it's fun. It's not nearly as fun when you're picking Eric Nolan or Joseph Morales or stuff like that. Like, yeah, you're going against a lot better guy, but you know these dudes don't work full-time jobs or something. They're in the gym grinding every single day with the best training partners, with the best coaches. It's just there's levels to the game, which is why they're dogs. But Jeff Neal's as game as it gets. Like, absolutely give me some Jeff Neal, and he is my preferred play with 2,000 less. This is a heck of a fight, though. Like, I really, really want to watch the main event. Who knows if I'm able to? I'm definitely disconnecting from the world, but this fight and the Prates Neal fight, I'm gonna see if I can time it. I don't know what time it's gonna be, but awesome fight. 2 strikers, 2 of the best strikers. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right. I was gonna ask you that Southpaw versus Orthodox. Do you have any lean on how that looks? Prates the Orthodox guy, Jeff Neal to Southpaw. Like, have you thought about that at all?
No, I don't really take that too much into account, but I mean, I don't know. I guess you could favor the Southpaw.
Yeah, it's really I don't really take much into it because like not that I don't believe in it. You can tell some people just like are completely lost. Again, more lower tier stuff. Like obviously as training partners, you would think Practice has got all southpaws working with them and vice versa there. So just like the kicks, the body kicks, sometimes heavy leg kickers, it's a lot more different. Stuff like that. So I was just wondering if you had any thoughts there. 2 fights left. You mentioned from the top, Aaron Pico making his UFC debut, taking on the undefeated Lerone Murphy, the debuter, the favorite over the undefeated fighter. Pico minus 170, Murphy plus 145, plus 150 for this fight to finish. We have Pico plus 225 inside the distance, Murphy plus 475. Feels like this fight's been talked about more than almost any fight on the card because a lot of people are torn. Is it's the debuters keep stinking? Bellator was Aaron Pico, what he's known for, his last fight at PFL. Lerone Murphy, though, has never lost. A lot of people are like, how do you have a debuter against an undefeated guy as a favorite? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on this fight? And how does it pertain to DFS?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting fight. I mean, Murphy never lost, and he's been in 9 UFC fights. That's really freaking impressive.
Against some good competition. I will say, I do think he lost that Silva fight. I think that was pretty bad.
Me too.
Or Santos.
Yeah, Santos, and I bet Santos too as an underdog. So
it was in England. Oh, that was brutal. That was really bad. But
yeah. But yeah, Santos took him down 5 times. And Pico's a wrestler, like a talented wrestler. Grew up as a kid wrestling. And then he fell in love with his hands because he's got one punch knockout power. And it's probably fun just to knock people out rather than take them down and lay on them. So Pico could go out there and get a knockout, score well that way. But if he's in a striking match and he's not getting the knockout, then we don't really want exposure to him. But he is a great wrestler. This is your UFC debut. They're giving you somebody who's been taken down 22 times in the octagon. I think it would be smart to go out there, look for the knockout in the first couple minutes, and if it doesn't go your way, start to put on a wrestling clinic and show why you're here in this spot. So I'm very interested in Pico if he's going to wrestle. I just never know what fighters are going to do, and when I think they should do something, they go out there and they do the complete opposite and then end up losing the fight. So I'm not going to put too much stock into it. It is the co-main event. I think ownership will go to both these guys anyways, but Pico's my preferred play because he has more ways to hit a ceiling. And I think it's not a setup fight for him to win, but I think the UFC is rooting on Pico to get his hand raised here. And it's most likely going to be wrestling or a knockout. So I like that. But I'm also cool with Murphy too, because he is an underdog on this card and he could knock out Pico. He could also win a 15-minute striking match. He's a live dog. I'm interested in that a little bit, but it would be more of the more lineups I get, then I'll get to some Murphy. If I'm making, 5 or 10 lineups, I doubt I get Murphy at all. But Pico, I'm interested in, even with a couple. I think he'll show why he's got this big of a name and the UFC's putting him in this big of a spot.
I'm not playing Murphy in 20 and below. The dude just, if he doesn't get the finish, I don't think he's going to be the one wrestling. I think his best chance is a boring striking match where Pico does just fall in love with his hands and Murphy outpoints him in a close decision. But he's 8,000. I'll rather Ruzi Boyev. I'd rather Andrade. I'd rather Cannonier. I'd rather Jeff Neal at the end of the day. So it's interesting. Inside the distance opening odds. Pico plus 275, now plus 225. So went in the right direction. Murphy plus 400. Now plus 475. I just do not see a finish on the Lerone Murphy side. More fights of his have gone to decision than he's finished. I'd be surprised to see him get a finish here. So I keep talking. I don't like the mid-tier. I'm not playing Murphy. I'm not playing close. Barbosa, I'm playing some. Do I love it? No. Pico, I'm playing some. Do I love it? Not really. But yeah, him and Barbosa, I guess, are my favorites. I don't love the Lupi and Andrade fight, but it's one I'm almost forced to play. I'd be fine. I think a lot of my lineups, I want stars and scrubs. And then if I only have one of those mid-tier fighters, I think that's how my preferred route is. I don't think I'd want, like, I definitely would not like lineups with like Pico, Barbosa, and one of Andrade and Loopy, like 3 mid-tier fighters. Absolutely not. Not that I would make a rule against it. I think it'd be really low owned. So flagship stuff, I guess, but more than likely max 2 in the mid-tier, and more times than not, 1, I think would be my preference. And if I had 0, I'd be fine with that as well. And how we group the mid-tier is 8,500 to 7,700. So those 3 fights, Pico, Godinez, and Barbosa. And he has Big Marley 2-star, 3-star, 3-star. So he's kind of in lockstep. He doesn't love that mid-tier either. We lost the best mid-tier fight, Diego Ferreira, King Green, in my opinion. I mean, that was going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, that was one of the fights to get canceled. All right, Big Marley, the moment we've all been waiting for. Main event time. Before we talk about it again, we appreciate the like button and the subscribe button. It does help us out a ton. And I'll throw out the image again if you want to join us. These prices will be going up next Wednesday. NFL, college football, SaberSim, the best optimizer around, and 5 ballots into the SHIPIT games. You get, if with the early bird NFL special, you also get access to the Discord, the best around, ShipItNation.com. We would love to have you. Can't get any better fight than this. Khamzat Chimaev minus 235, Dricus du Plessis plus 200, minus 325 for this fight to finish. Chimaev minus 145 inside the distance. Dricus plus 300. I said I was never going to pick against Chimaev. I said he'd be a champion. I'm definitely not changing now. I've also been against Dricus way more than I like to admit. I was wrong on him plenty. That happens all the time. Jamal Hill, sweet dreams. I was like, I'm not picking against this guy. Yeah, he took a lot of money out of my pocket. Hopefully Chimaev does not do that this week. But, I mean, the dude is just so dominant. Like, I've seen Derek Brunson in full mount over freaking Dricus in round 1. Like, if Chimaev gets to that spot, this fight's over. He's so dominant. He's so strong. Yeah, I'm definitely on Chimaev, but I should be the one talking about this fight. People probably knew that answer coming into it. I will say I don't think the line's crazy. Like, I give Dricus a lot. I mean, I don't know how you don't nowadays, but a lot more respect than I ever did. Back then, if you told me this even like a year ago, what would I line this fight at? Minus 400 Chimaev, minus 450. Like, I truly do think the line is efficient. I wouldn't go and say, go put 20 grand on Chimaev. You know what I mean? Like, I bet 20 on Murat. I bet a couple times. I bet a lot of money this year on main events. This is not one I would do at all. I think it's efficient, but we're talking DFS. I would want to get overweight Chimaev, which would lead to me underweight Dricus, 80-20, 85-15. Like, I'm fine making a stand that big, but I don't want to go all in because Dricus is live. And the longer the fight goes, I think it favors Dricus. He's been in 5-round fights. Yeah, what do you think on the cardio aspect, and then break down how you see it going? I know we're both having 100%. And then will you stack it in any fights, I guess, or in any lineups, I should ask as well?
Nah, definitely not stacking it. What else did you ask?
Break down the fight, but like, do you agree with the overall sentiment of the longer the fight goes, if this fight hits 3.5 rounds, 4 rounds, gets in the 5th round, that you do see Dricus having the advantage? Or do you think people are wrong saying that?
Yeah, I would give him the advantage in those rounds, and maybe a knockout would be likely if that's the case that it goes that far. But Chimaev is going to be my highest owned fighter on the card. Kind of like Fluffy last week. I said if I make 10 lineups, I'm just going to go all in on Fluffy, which I did. But then I kept making more lineups. I ended up with like, I don't remember what it was, 75 and 25
so
possibly.
Good. Fluffy's so good.
He really is. But that's, I think, my take on Chimaev this week. I'm just going to go super heavy on him, 80-20. I like that. I just think he's going to go out there, get takedowns, and dominate the fight, get a submission. You mentioned Derek Brunson got him in full mount. Darren Till took down DDP. If Darren Till can take down DDP, I think Chimaev probably can. And Chimaev probably does whatever he wants once he gets the fight to the ground. The cardio would be the issue, but I don't think it'll even come to that. I think Chimaev gets a first or second round submission. Even in a 3-round decision over Usman, he scored 92 points. So I just don't know how Chimaev would win and not score well. I actually think that usually the case in a main event, like the way it doesn't end up on the optimal lineup, is the favorite winning and not getting there. This one, I think it would be DDP winning. Maybe he just gets 10-8'd in the first, 10-8'd in the second, comes out flying knee in the third. Maybe that doesn't get there. But that's really the only freaking way I see this fight not being on the optimal lineup. I think it's a knockout from DDP or it's a mauling from Chimaev, but a decent score either way, and I think Chimaev gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, if DDP wins and isn't optimal, and again, what you said, like that would be the thing. Like you hate 3rd-round finishes in main events because it scores pretty much the same as a decision. Those extra 10 minutes go a long way. But yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked to see DDP win and not get there. And Chimaev, yeah, I want to be 100%. Like we see this fight, even if 3% fade, I think 3% are paying the rake. Even in the largest field stuff, I'd much rather get different playing Joseph Morales. I'd much rather get different dropping from Prates to Lupi. Like I'll get crazy in a lot of other ways. I'm not going to get crazy fading this main event. 80-20, 85-15, something like that. That's a big enough stand for me. And then you're not stone cold dead. Like 15%, it only takes one lineup in MMA. Heck, if your one lineup needs DDP when it's all said and done to ship all the cheese, hey, and then you just flip who you're cheering for. Fingers crossed. Peekaboo. You hardly watch the fight in the first round or two because it's going to be scary, and you just hope he survives and goes longer because that's when I think DDP has his best chance. But DDP's continued to prove me wrong, continued to prove many wrong.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. He's at 9 UFC wins. I'm pretty sure I've picked against him like 7 times.
I'm probably somewhere there too. It's been absolutely insane. I mean, even the Izzy fight, like I thought Izzy was winning. Like I thought Izzy was finally finding his groove, and the dude you talk about fighting for your dollar. DDP will fight for your dollar. That's always a good thing to have at 7,300, but I won't be cheering
can
for
chug
that.
a beer too.
Yeah, there you go. Chimaev season for me. That's 13 fights. Fingers crossed we do keep all 13. Again, I will be out early tomorrow. I will be gone for 2 weeks. I will be off the grid. Nothing will be updated on my end. Big Marley will have you covered this week in the Discord if anything does change. And then Sheets and Big Marley next week will be live on the show. Again, many great words with Sheets. One of the sharpest minds out there. Going to be fun listening to those two talk some MMA. That's all I got, though. Any final thoughts before we get on out of here, Big Marley?
No, hopefully it's a fun card. Hopefully it's a profitable card. Have fun on vacation, title. Good luck to you. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Thank you very much. Good luck, YSN. Cody, thank you. Nate D, I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Again, like button on the way out. Subscribe button helps us out a ton. And we would love to have you at SHIPITNation.com. Weekly, monthly, annual NFL packages. Anything you need, we got you covered. Let's win some money this week. UFC 319 pay-per-view season, Chicago, Illinois. Going to be a fun one for Big Marley. I'm Titletown. Good luck this week and stay safe. Peace.